Yes, folks, hello, welcome once again to Monkeywrench Games and Collectibles. It's time for another action figure review here on the channel, and as you can see on the screen in front of you right now, today's installment is going to be taking a closer look at the brand new G.I. Joe Classified Series Monkeywrench figure. So stick around, I'm going to give you all the ins and outs, ups and downs that you need to know about Monkeywrench, so that if you've been thinking about picking up this bad boy for yourself, or if you've got a pre-order in and wondering whether you want to keep it, then you'll have a good, thorough review to help you make a decision and know whether Monkeywrench is worth your cash. I'm going to kick off by jumping back in time and visiting past Chris when the box first arrived on my doorstep and just generally taking a look at the peg presence of the packaging. Then onto the figure itself, where we'll take a look at the aesthetic and the visual experience, talk about the articulation and the posability, and then get into a rundown of all the accessories and added value. And with all that said and done, you should have plenty of information, loads of information to know whether you're cracking your wallet open or not for Monkeywrench. So let's get into it. And as I say, we're going to visit past Chris now and see what he thought of the box when it arrived on his doorstep. Here we go. Okay then, folks, well, here is Monkeywrench in packaging, and as you can see, it's the now standard G.I. Joe Classified Series packaging we've come to know and love. So we've got the carbon fibre kind of motif there, the name of the character in the top corner, Dreadnok Monkeywrench. Got the Cobra symbol because he's a Cobra character, G.I. Joe Classified, the window showing off the figure, and all the goodies, including the small scratch the mine has received in transit. Not that I'm bothered, I'm going to open it up anyway. Then on the back there, we've got the number in the top corner, 167, got the digital render with Monkeywrench hanging out in the Dreadnok garage with the cold slither poster in the background and the drum kit, etc., etc. Couple of breakout windows showing off some of the finer details like the mask hair swap thing and the grenades across his bandolier there. Legal bollocks and malarkey across the bottom, and then, of course, the file card information. Let's learn some more about Monkeywrench together, shall we, folks? And to begin with here, we've got a $sign over some bones, which you might interpret to mean that he earns money for assassinating people or something. But that's not actually the case. This is indicating his interest in pirate history, Caribbean pirate history, specifically as a good Welsh lad in the prevalence of Welsh pirates that sailed the high seas. Check, look it up, folks. Captain Morgan's Rum, Welshman. And this one here, this is one of those light sticks that air traffic control people out on the runway use to guide planes in. He's never had any experience as an air traffic control light stick dude. He just stole it off a guy in the pub once. This is dynamite, because Monkeywrench likes to blow shit up. And this one here, this is an early piece of created artwork taken directly from one of Monkeywrench's school textbooks before he went truant. On this side here, then, we've got the number on the bottom there, and then the piece of painted artwork. It's okay. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's just walking a path in the middle. Then on the other side, repeat the file card, the sepia tone version of the character, the QR code to nowhere, and, all that good stuff. And there you go there, folks. So if you're mint in box or you're just interested in the peg presence of Monkeywrench, that's the packaging experience. But I'm not mint in box. I crack these bad boys open, so I'm going to go away and open up Monkeywrench now, get good and hands-on, get some man-child playtime in, take some photos, make some displays, see what it looks like next to a few other figures, and jot a few thoughts down so that I can give you a good, solid, thorough review. And speaking of that review, we'll start the review section of the video in 3, 2, 1. Okay then, folks, well, here is Monkeywrench then as he came out the packaging. I'm going to kick off the review section of the video by talking about the aesthetic and visual experience of the figure. Here's your head-to-toe look of Monkeywrench just to get us started, so you can soak that in and eyeball the figure head to toe. And as you can see, strong vintage inspiration, but with a classified twist. So it's striking that nice balance between drawing inspiration from the OG original figure from the 80s, the vintage figure, and putting a few little twists and extra touches. So the colour scheme, for example, with the sleeveless leather jacket in the red, the blue jeans, the little red handkerchiefs tied around the thighs there, the bandolier with the grenades hanging off it, the bare arms, the black leather gloves, etc., all kind of core visual identifying features for the character as he was back in the day. But you can see that the 6-inch sculpt and some of the extra bits of depth and stuff that they've chucked in there gives it that kind of more contemporary feel. Moving in a bit closer, you can see we've got this lovely mean face sculpt on there. He's got the kind of growling, gritted teeth, nice sculpting details in the facial features, the cheeks, the nose, the lips, the teeth are individually painted as well. Got the nice sculpting on the beard. Got this lovely effect, this kind of scar effect going across his face there as well. And then the great eyes. Mine's got this little kind of silver bit at the top of the eyebrow there. I don't know, is this supposed to be an eyebrow ring or an eyebrow piercing or something? I went and had a look at the promo pictures, but I couldn't quite tell because it was all a bit shadowy in the way that Shooting the Galaxy have taken the pictures, but that's how I've interpreted it anyway. I don't think it's a bit of paint rub from the alternative face mask or anything. But you can also see jewellery-wise, he's got the earrings in there, individually painted again, and then a nice sculpt on the hair. So a lot of personality, a lot of character coming through, that very typical kind of aggressive, Dreadnoky kind of look and feel about him, which is perfect. Although sometimes when taking pictures, I'm like, oh man, I could, I could perhaps do with something a bit more vanilla on occasion. What are you going to do? But I was taking a few pickies the other day and he was looking a bit too angry for them. Then we've got loads of other lovely touches, like his neckerchief here. You see how he's all kind of muckied up and dirty. Looks like, he's had the rag on while he's been under the hood of a car or something doing some work. This can be removed, of course, and is removed when you swap it out for the face mask, but there's also a little necklace underneath here too, all painted at the end. Then the leather jacket, or the leather vest, I suppose you'd call it. Lovely sculpted details, got a nice leathery aesthetic to it. Looks like there's a bit of wash over the top there, and then you've got paint details in there like the zips and the buckles too, which I'm always a big fan of. They're just these extra little touches to give it some depth. And the bandolier across the front here, I found this a bit annoying. It's a bit loose and does the usual annoying loose belt type stuff, but it's certainly got a nice leathery looking vibe. There's sculpted details in on the actual strap bit, and then you've got the paints in the green for the grenades, which loving that, and then the little clasp buckle here with a little bit of a splash of red in there. So loads of lovely details in the torso, and then as you go further down you can see nice sculpted belt buckle, painted as well, with the little extra bits, the clasps to hold it onto the belt, the black leather belt, but all these, like the belt loops and stuff, all the individual paint pieces in here, which is lovely. And then his kind of wallet chain and his key chain there. These are nice aesthetically, but just on a side note, when I was pausing them up, they bend up rather uncomfortably when, like if you're putting them in seating positions and stuff, and I was worried about snapping this one on the right-hand side there. But it hasn't yet. Plenty more details in terms of sculpt and paint applications as well, like the tattoos on the arms. He's got this skull and crossbones there on the top of his arm here, on his shoulder. But the crossbones are spanners, which is nice. And you can see on the hand here, sculpted details, and the studs are individually painted on the gloves. And we've got another tattoo here on the other side as well, which is like a dagger symbol thing there, which is great. But I love these tattoos. And then around the back here, you can see he's got the black leather patch on the back of his vest. The jeans are all right. There's some texture detail in there, and they look kind of jeansy. They're a little bit plasticky. They could perhaps be made to look a little bit more denim-y, like, who's really good on that? Oh, like Shipwreck. I thought the Shipwreck jeans were pretty good. However, loads of sculpted detail in here again, like the torn-out sections with the skin paint application, and then the lighter blue on the torn denim sections here, which is great to see. And then you can see on the holster here on the thigh, got the painted clasp with the little pop button to release, and then a lovely bit of sculpted detail on the pistol holster there with this like flaming skull, this Dreadnok flaming skull. I mentioned the handkerchiefs tied around his thighs there, not his thighs, sorry, his calves. And you can see these are nicely sculpted too, with the kind of stretched fabric shape in them. And then the boots are, well, pretty standard G.I. Joe Classified Series boots. Oh, got the dropsies. Pretty standard G.I. Joe Classified Series boots that we've seen before. So I'm going full thumbs up on the aesthetic. The visual experience is great. They really pull the stops out on the Dreadnoks, don't they, with these extra painted details and sculpted details. I wish there was a bit more consistency on that front across the line. I mean, largely it's good. It's my favourite line at the moment. We know this. Any regulars around these parts will be aware of that. But with the Dreadnoks, just the extra little touches, like the sculpt on the holster and just the extra little paint apps and stuff. Yeah, just really, really stands out. He's got a great shelf presence, really stands out. Fits in well with the other Dreadnoks. I'll show you the figure, Monkeywrench, there next to a couple of the other Dreadnoks a bit later on in the video as well, so you can sort of see how he sits next to those. But it works. It just works. Lovely. And a good North Wales lad as well. So I'm very pleased to have him in the collection. But the visual experience, yeah, the aesthetic is cool. I really like it. So there you go. There's the aesthetic. Let's now take a closer look at his articulation, shall we? Right, folks, well, it's standard G.I. Joe Classified Series articulation. So, listen, I've put chapters in. If you want to jump forward to the accessories and the added value section of the review, because you're already familiar with the articulation scheme, then please feel free to do so. However, if this is your first G.I. Joe Classified Series review you've ever watched, or you want to see if there's any quirks of any kind, then stick around and I'll walk you through it. Getting started up top, it's the standard ball at the base of the neck, ball in the head, in the skull piece there. The down's okay, but the up's not fantastic. The back collar of the jacket, the little mullet round the back here, and when he's got the neckerchief on, kind of really get in the way of doing your upwards look. But you've got your full swivel and your tilt and everything. It's all in there. Moving down into the arms is the butterfly joint there, giving you some shuffle forward and back. Then the peg and hinge in the shoulder and armpit, giving you full 360 all the way around, and a T-shape out to there. Swivel here at the top of the bicep and tricep. Pinless double elbow that'll get you up to there. And then pegged in hands that swivel all the way around on the wrist. And the right hand's got an up and down hinge. And the left hand's got an in and out hinge. Moving into the torso, it's the hinge, ab crunch cut, and then the ball in the waist. So you can crunch him forward like that. Crunch him back like that. Move him around and swivel him at the waist. Drop down ball joints at the hips and groin. So you can bring him out like that. Bring him forward like so. Get your Russian ballet out like that. If you're not anxious about snapping your chains. Swivel at the top of the thigh. Pinless double knee that'll get you to there. There, a little side note while I'm here. This holster sits quite low on this thigh. And because of the way the sculpting is at the top here, it's difficult to get it further up, and it sometimes sort of drops down and gets stuck in your little knee hinge there, just as a side note. Then you got a cut on the boot, giving you a swivel there, and your standard hinge and rocker at the feet. So yeah, thumbs up on the articulation, all the, things I imagined that I tried to pose him into to take photos around, I was able to do so. Aside from a couple of little quirks, like I mentioned before, oh, bloody hell, I've got the dropsies today, haven't I? But aside from my anxiety around the chain here and the holster dropping down and getting in the way, no real issues. I managed to get him into most of the pictures and poses that I wanted to do. So I was happy with that. And yeah, pretty smooth out the box as well. No heating required, but not too loose either. A nice balance. So yeah, thumbs up on the articulation. All right, well, there you go. There's the articulation then. Let's now take a closer look at the accessories and added value, shall we? And to get us started, we've got this kind of head swap-y type of thing, this kind of hair swap face mask type thing. This is really cool. Got this kind of breather apparatus on the front. I love the two different colour lenses in the goggles there. Sort of reminds me of, what was that character from Transmetropolitan? Spider Jerusalem. Although his were green and red, I think, maybe. Were they green and red? Oh, I'm going to have to go have a look now. Yes, they were green and red. I've just had a look on the front cover of one of my trade paper. Bloody hell. What was I saying? Well, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I like this. You got the hair sculpt there, which is really nice. Yeah, it's a lovely touch. And the way you swap that on, this hairpiece pops off like so. We've seen this before with the likes of Lady J and Shipwreck. And then this piece pops over the top. And there you go. Took him off camera for a minute just to sort of finesse it into place, but you can see there. You have to sort of wiggle down this front section here to sit on his face properly with the hairline right across his forehead. But it's minimal fuss. It was just a little bit of finessing. You can see there the way the face mask sort of sits over the front of his face. Yeah, nice extra detail. Lovely little touch. If you've got a motorbike that you've customized in the 6-inch scale, I think he'd look pretty badass with this on while he's on the motorbike. And while we're on head-related accessories and added value, we've of course got Monkeywrench's signature shades there. Really like these. They're this kind of mirrored aviator style. Really love the effect on the glasses there. Lovely. Now, what I have found is getting the glasses on and off, I've had to pop the hairpiece off, wrap them around the top of the ears, and then pop the hairpiece back down. I don't know, there's probably a proper channel in there, sort of like a little, you can kind of see a little bit of a channel angle, but I found it a bit difficult to get them in, so I've just popped the hair off and popped it on. But yeah, done a lot awesome cool with them on. And then, still not done with head stroke face-related accessories, we've got his bandit face scarf thing up there that you can pop up. Actually, I've left it sitting a bit low. Again, you have to pop the head off to get that on nicely, I think, and take this off, obviously, because it doesn't make sense hanging around his neck while he's got it up over his face. But I love that, and again, they've kept that kind of dirty, mucky wash on it there to make it look like it's a rag that's been, and smeared his oil stain hands over and whatnot, or sweated into while he's been, robbing jewelry stores and things. Then moving into his weapon loadout, we've got his like little trident launcher thing here, which of course the vintage figure came with, and he's known for carrying. We've got the trident section there, painted in the kind of metallic paint application, but then we've got a couple of other extra sculpted bits and painted bits here. There's kind of like, I don't know, what's that, like an air compressor launchery bit, and a little wrap around the handle. Got this nice little, what looks like a kind of double-barreled shotgun piece underneath as well, if any Joes get too close, and the trident piece pops off as well like this with a peg, which is nice to see. You probably noticed mine's a little bent, it's a bit loosey-goosey, a bit rubbery at the back there, although the main body is fine. But of course, another signature Monkeywrench item that adds to his visual identity. Then we have his little 6-shooter revolver here. I think this is the same as the one that comes with Wild Bill, but not having picked up the Dragonfly, perhaps someone who has could let me know if that is the case. But I love this little kind of, 18th century 6-shooter style, although it's got a little kind of modern touch with the that grill piece across the bottom. Nice sculpted handle, metallic paint application there. Really nice vibe, really goes with the bandit mask. So you could absolutely see him kind of robbing some small town bank with his mask up and his little 6-shooter in the teller's face kind of thing, which is nice. And this, of course, goes in the holster that's on his right thigh. Like, oh, so. Then Monkeywrench comes with these two kind of axe Monkeywrench mashup conversion things, which are kind of cool. You got your like little Monkeywrench piece down there, and this little orange section here, then little grip wrap, and then the bladed section at the top. With the, of course, as always a big fan of the metallic paint job on the bladed section, on the metallic section. So yeah, fun. Another kind of piece of weaponry with a bit of character. It's got that very kind of Dreadnoky, mashed up, thrown together, customized feel to it, which is really nice. Adds a bit of flavour. And then the bandolier on the back of them have got a couple of little hooks you can store them on. There's a gap on the upper side of these. You can just sort of slide them in like so there. I'll have that blade facing down. Put that one there, kind of overlapped over there like that. See, there you go. So you can get him carrying his axes. Or I don't know, angle that one. Let's swivel it now it's in there. Angle that one that way or something. I don't know. Anyway, you'll do it how you like. But yeah, you got this little kind of storage clip at the back. And then finally, you can see we've got a fist hand for each arm. And both of these come with forward and back hinges. So this is a really solid accessory selection. Big thumbs up on this one. Different facial looks, different weaponry, hand swaps. It just opens up your world of possibility with your man-child play, with your display poses, your photographing and your dioramoring, all that good stuff. I can't complain at all. Loads of added value, tons of stuff in there. I've been chopping and changing around with the masks and the bandit scarf and stuff. Glasses on, glasses off, different weapons. Yeah, loving it. Great accessory selection. I love stuff like this that just gives you a kind of wider range of possibilities in terms of how you use your figure, how you pose and display your figure. So, yeah, and of course, it just adds to the visual experience as well. The shelf presence is improved and enhanced by the accessory selection. So very, very into that all round, good selection of stuff. Okay, well, there's the accessories and added value. Let's have a quick peek at Monkeywrench next to a couple of other figures, shall we? And of course, to get us started, we're getting Monkeywrench out with some Dreadnoks. I went straight to the Dreadnoks, although my Zartan and Buzzer are AWOL. I don't know where they've gone. I think they may have got mixed in with my Marvel Legends. But nonetheless, here he is with Torch and Ripper. What a ragtag bunch of sons of bitches. Look at him. Absolute mess. They look marvellous. I love it. Here he is with Xandar and Rana. Xandar's smirk, man. Definitely eliminates him from a number of photos that I've sought to take. And here he is with Road Pig, comparing face masks. And that most certainly is not a sight you'd want to see on the side of a darkened highway, is it? Okay, folks, well, here is Monkeywrench making his way around on the 360 turntables. You can have a look at the whole figure, just as I offer up some final thoughts. This is how I've had him displayed as my desk figure for the last couple of days. I love these kind of quick draw holster 6-shooter kind of vibes. I desperately need G.I. Joe Classified to do me a retro card back. Wow, Bill now with his 6-shooters, so I can get Monkeywrench and Crystal Ball doing quick draw scenes with him. But in any case, in summary, you probably gathered from the tone of the review all the way through, very, very happy with this Monkeywrench. Very happy. Really enjoyed the figure. He's been a great desk figure. I've been playing around with him lots, taking tons of pictures, getting my other Dreadnoks out and stuff. Been very, very enjoyable. The man-child playtime's been good with the range of accessories. The photography's been good. He looks great in the display with the other Dreadnoks. Very, very happy indeed. I mentioned it before. They go all out on these Dreadnoks. The finer detail stuff just really adds something to the experience. And I'm very, very pleased. So this is a Mod Extra Games and Collectibles recommends for sure. All right, well, thanks very much for watching, folks. I hope you found that useful. If you've been thinking about picking up Monkeywrench or you got a pre-order in and you're wondering whether you should keep it, hopefully that'll help you make your mind up. Make a spending decision, a purchase decision there. If it did, of course, do the usual YouTube stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Give us a thumbs up if you found it useful, all that good stuff. But all that remains to say is thanks for watching. I hope you come back around again for another video sometime soon. And you have a great day now. All right? Bye-bye now. Oh, balls. Back to the camera again.